It's easy to forget as we fret over the daily machinations of Congress that the policies negotiated there, often behind closed doors, can have repercussions far beyond the Beltway. The Feddie Reporting Award, established by the National Press Foundation in 2010, recognizes outstanding reporting about the impact of federal laws and regulations on local communities. This year's winner is the Arizona Republic for Sacred Spaces, a multimedia series by Arizona Republic reporter Debra Utacia Krol and photographer and videographer Cheryl Evans, who traveled to sites across Arizona to document the struggle by the Apache, Mojave, and other Native peoples to protect and access sacred sites on federal lands. The judges praised the compelling presentation of a highly complicated issue bound up in a confusing jumble of federal laws and regulations. Congratulations to Debra Krol and Cheryl Evans.
Good evening. I'm Debra Krol, and I'm a 400th generation Californian. When I was just a skinny little Holon Indian kid reading the San Francisco Chronicle in front of Bunty's General Store in San Lucas, I never imagined I'd be standing here amongst all of these wonderful top flight journalists accepting this award. And this series arose from a simple question: why do Indigenous peoples like my own have such a difficult time protecting sacred and culturally significant sites? My reporting partner, Cheryl Evans, and I have been covering Oak Flat, a site about 60 miles east of Phoenix that was scheduled to be obliterated by a copper mine. The site is held sacred by Apaches and other peoples in the Southwest. Yet at the end of the day, they have no say over what would happen to a place where they have worshiped since time immemorial. But this is a familiar story to Indigenous peoples in the United States. If a site is not located on a reservation, the tribes have no legal way to stop damaging or destroying what amounts to churches. So we started digging. We learned that endangered species appear to have more rights than native religions, and that more than 500 years of colonial and federal policies and laws have created and sustained this situation. We also learned that entrenched federal bureaucracies oftentimes make only token efforts to engage in what the feds call tribal consultation. Rarely do tribal objections result in the federal agency denying a permit request. This and other stories like it are why legacy media are well served to attract and retain journalists of color. We offer the perspective of our cultures and histories, which lead to stories that don't usually get covered in the mainstream. We're also there to help correct tropes and stereotypes that have snuck into news coverage in the past. Cheryl and I would like to thank the Native people who lent us our time, their voices, and their images for this series, including Colorado River Indian Tribes Chairman Amelia Flores, Wendler Nosey from San Carlos Apache Tribe, Cora Max Phillips from Navajo Nation, Andrew Pedro from the Gila River Indian Community, and Ramon Riley of the White Mountain Apache Tribe. And I would like to thank my editors, Sean McKinnon, Josh Susong, and Greg Burton, for bringing me on, believing in my abilities, and giving me the freedom to build my beat. I also would like to thank Cheryl for her beautiful visual compliment to the words, and for persevering during the pandemic when people and places were off limits. I'd also like to thank some of the people who helped me along the way. I do want to point out my old friend, Will Hurst, for his wonderful newspaper and for encouraging me along the way. Nothing wrong with the Arizona Republic, but I didn't grow up learning to read on it. A final thank you to our families including Cheryl's husband, photographer Michael Chow, my husband Ken, and my mother, Mary Larson Bishop, and my grandmothers, aunties, and uncles who made me a storyteller by telling their own. And one final thing I'm going to add at the last minute, just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are eating this delicious dinner on the homelands of the Anacostia and Piscataway peoples. Thank you.